What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ethan. Welcome to the absolute sea of poker players going on right now here at the Lodge new poker room with 60 tables right behind me, main event action, and we're playing the 2550 stream today, and I just can't really imagine how packed this is. They call this place the Lodge Mahal for a very good reason, and it's because it's packed with action and people and players. It's absolutely incredible. Anyways, we're playing the 2550 stream. It's gonna be a big one. Streams really haven't gone as great as we'd like to these days recently, but you know what? We're here to grind it out and hope to run things up and make something happen after all of the blood that's been shed so far. But there's the live stream table. There are so many tournament tables going on right now. This place has been absolutely packed, but should be a fun environment and a pretty cool experience. And with that said, we'll hop into the action. Let's get into the game. This is by far the strongest and toughest lineup I'll be playing in for these live stream games, and for such a big game like this, I'm going to be buying in for $10,000 and try my best to battle it out against some really good players on this table. For one of the first interesting spots, we have pocket nines in middle position. We are playing 25, 50, 100 with the straddle on for the whole night. I decided to open things up to $300. Player on my left side makes the call. And now Boots in position puts in a 3-bet, and it's a sizable one to 1,500. Action folds back to me, and we have a pretty strong hand to continue with here, obviously. So with pocket nines, we're going to go call and see a flop. Sai comes along as well. Off to a flop of King 6-3 Rainbow. It's a pretty dry flop with the King overcard over our pair. Action checks to Boots, who puts in a continuation bet of 1,200. And I can certainly see Boots betting this with his entire range here and with a lot of his holdings. He certainly has a lot more stronger King X's compared to me and can certainly defend a lot. But with a player behind me, I should probably be folding more often than not. So that's what I decided to do. Just let this one go and see what develops. Unfortunately, Sai quickly folds as well and didn't have a strong hand this time, so we fold the best hand to start this session. In the next spot, with Jack 10 of diamonds in the cutoff, action starts with me opening up to $300. The button makes the call, which entices the big blind to call as well. So does Mariano in the straddle. Off to a flop 4 ways, which comes 10-8-3 Rainbow. Flopping pretty well for my specific hand with top pair and some backdoor opportunities. Action checks to me, and I elect to put in a bet of $700 for value here with 3 other players in. And looks like this price gets the button and big blind to call. Then action onto Mariano, who thinks for a while and ends up actually deciding to put in a check raise, sizing to $2,800. Pretty small check raise given all the players in this pot and how much money is in the middle. And with top pair here, I think an easy decision would be just simply calling, as we have top pair, we have a decent holding. But given the stack sizes, I think that with so little behind, considering the size of the pot, we either want to jam or fold. And I think jamming here can work a lot of the time, but the only issue is that there are other players behind me that can have a lot better 10Xs or even slow played sets or 2 pairs. And I block some straight draws like Jack 9 that Mariano can be bluffing with here. So with 2 other players behind me, kind of the same situation as the first hand, I think we have to call a little bit tighter in these spots and not much to play for. I decided to just let my cards go and fold. Other players fold pretty quickly, and once again, folding out the best hands. You can see Mariano's sneaky check raise bluff gets through this time. An orbit or 2 goes by. In this hand, we're playing 7-handed. I haven't played too many pots so far, so I just have to mix it up and put in a raise to $300 here in early position with King 10 offsuit. Action folds around the button, and Chaz in the straddle defends and makes the call. We're off to a flop 3 ways, which comes Queen 9-9. On this paired board with a gut shot straight draw, I think betting here makes a lot of sense, although we can see that this board may or may not already be locked up. Without knowing that real time though, I fire into the abyss $325. The button folds, and no surprise, Chaz is coming to make the call. We're off to a turn, which comes a jack. There it is. Future me is hating life right now, but present me, loving this spot and just trying to dump more money in the middle as we hit our nut straight. Chaz checks for a second time, and pretty much with one of the best hands I'll ever have here in this spot, I put in another bet and sized to $1,200. For $1,200, Chaz smooth calls, and we're off to see a river. The river comes in 8, so 4-liner on the board, any 10 makes a straight. Obviously, we're not too concerned about that as we have the best straight possible, and Chaz decides to lead for $2,600 now. It's half of my stack, and with the 4-liner on board, the decision point is to either just call or rip it all in. Folding never really crossed my mind at this point because we beat all normal 10x holdings, but with a paired board, maybe I just run into a full house sometimes. So for that reason, I decided to just flick in a call and not rip it all in about the $5,200 left in stack. We get shown the pretty brutal news. And there's nothing to do here besides laugh this one off, I guess. Nice hand, Chaz, and this session is going pretty terribly so far. After this cooler of a situation, I add on for $30,000 more, and it's time to battle back and try to chip up against these players at the table. No better way to claw out of the deep hole we dug ourselves in than a 9-way, $100 each, single board bomb pot PLO style. We look down at King, Queen, Jack 10 in early position, and we're off to a flop which comes Jack 10-7, 2 spades, and a club. Monster flop for our holding. We don't have a straight yet, but we do have 2 pair. We're open-ended and a backdoor flush draw. There's a lot going on for our hand. So in early position, I decided to bet out $600 into the field here. And as you can see, we get some action players as 3 players make the call. There's always action city in these bomb pot hands. So we go from 9 ways to the flop to 4 ways to the turn. The turn comes a total brick, the deuce of hearts. Unimproved here, and we're in early position. I decided to check this one over to the field. Now Sai to my left throws out a bet of $2,400. Pretty large bet, and Bart thinks about it for a while and calls. Then Chaz makes the call as well. On to me, we have massive draws, and we're very much priced in to see them. I make the call as well. And please, let's hit her out. We're playing by far the biggest pot of the night so far. Let's go to a river. The river is the 3 of spades, brick city for us. It's unfortunate, and I'm not going to bluff into this one multi-way as the spade draw gets there. Everyone ends up checking it, and Bart and Chaz actually chop this one up after flopping the nut straight and holding. Somehow, no one here had the spade draw, which is really interesting to see. And unfortunately, we're going to lose this one after having a monster draw on the flop. We have been losing all of the big pots so far. No better time to mix things up than win a pot when we pick up Ace King in the hijack. I decided to open things up to $300. Action onto Boots now, who 3-bets to 1,000. And action folds to me, and you know the drill. We're stuck, we're out of position, and you can't claw out of the hole without putting more money in the middle. Let's try to play a big one. I put in the 4-bet to $3,000. Now onto Boots, who thinks about it for a long time. I'm looking at his stack. He looks like he has about 17 to 18,000 in there. And he decides to stick it all in. He must have heard our commentary about putting more money in the middle. And this is just a pretty sick spot facing a 5-bet jam. Typically, a lot of the players will only have kings or aces in this spot, but with Boots being a strong player, he certainly can have worse hands here. Maybe queens, maybe jacks, maybe even ace-king for chops. Who knows? But we are put in a horrible spot to be in, and I go over my options and go with my initial position that we can't get unstuck without putting chips in. Let's gamble. Screw it. I call, and good thing we just see ace-king right again. So looks like we're probably going to chop this one. What's cool is that both of us have all 4 suits covered. So if there are any 4 of one suit on this board, then one of us is going to take down the pot. Run the board once. No blood here. Unfortunately, we're going to chop this one up. Play $35,000, $36,000 pots with no blood. In the following interesting hand, we pick up pocket sevens. We're on the under the gun straddle, and Boots opens it up to 300. Bart in the small blind makes the call, and I'm not going to go anywhere. I make the call as well with a pretty good hand. Going to a flop of 8-9 deuce rainbow. Action checks to Boots, and he puts in a continuation bet of 450. Bart folds in the small blind, and here with third pair certainly can fold, but I don't think Boots connected too hard on this flop, so thinking that we can find some good runouts to bluff on, I decide to make the call with some bad intentions on later streets. The turn comes the 10 of diamonds, and it's honestly one of those really good cards I wanted to see. I think I can start check raising here sometimes and rep 6-7, but at the very least I'm open-ended and improved equity. I check out of position, and he surprisingly just checks this one back, which makes me feel a little bit suspicious about how strong his holding is. Thinking he has one pair at best, the river comes the 3 of spades. Not going to do anything but check and try to get the showdown. But now Boots thinks about it for a while and puts in an overbet to $1,200. And it's more than the size of the pot. And I'm really confused by this line when he checks the turn, then overbets river. I'm mainly putting him on some sort of overpair or one pair at best. He shouldn't be super strong, as I think this board favors us more than him. So I decided to go for it. Like I said, we certainly had bad intentions when we called the flop, and I don't think calling here is the best move. We're going to try to put in a raise and put his holdings to the test. We size up for a check raise to 6,500. Sadly, if you can look on the board, he's not going to fold top sets. He makes the call, and pretty bad timing to bluff out his holdings. He played it pretty well. Set the trap, I guess, on the turn and got me to commit more money and level myself into a bluff. Nice hand, Boots. So as you can clearly see, the night hasn't been going my way at all. And with this one, with a $200 straddle on, I think tilt and frustration got the best of me here. Certainly not proud of this one and not proud of this hand, so just a warning for you guys. We're in the small blind, and I open things up to $700 with a 200 straddle on board with the 10-8 of hearts. Boots and under the gun, we've been battling out against him all night. He 3-bets us to 1,800. Bones decides on making the call for 1,800, so pretty small 3-bets. We're out of position, but we have a playable hand. I make the call, and we're off to see a flop of 10-9 deuce to clubs. We've got top pair, not too bad of a board for us. When action checks to Bones, he throws out a bet of $2,500. And given how Bones have been playing so far all night, I think I could fold right here. But with top pair, I'm a little sticky as I'm frustrated and a little tilted. I make the call, Boots folds. Heads up the turn comes the 4 of spades. No improvement here, and seeing as a pretty small stack compared to the size of the pot, SPR of about 1. I check to him, and he thinks about it for a while and ends up putting out a small bet of $3,300. At this point, from my position, this just seems purely like value now. Our top pair sucks, but I haven't won a significant pot all night, and to go along with that, I've actually folded some winning hands earlier on in this session. And in this spot, frustration just got the best of me. I talked myself into ripping it all in, which in hindsight doesn't make any sense at all and kind of is the biggest punt. And obviously when I jam, he calls for the fair catch, and we're dead. We double him up, and after losing this pot, we're down a bunch, and I honestly wanted to leave after this hand. I'm clearly playing horribly, playing terribly, and I feel really bad about it. And also, I just know that I'm one of the weaker players at this table, so almost stuck $30,000. It's not going well, but I do have to give a huge shout out to Mariano for texting me some words of encouragement after this hand. And after this hand at this time, I just take a walk outside, try to reset, and moving forward, let's try to battle back. For one of the last interesting hands we get involved in on this stream, we pick up Jack 9 offsuit in the small blind, and action folds to me. I raised it up to $400, and only Boots makes the call. We've been battling it out big time against him, and we really just want to win one pot against him. That'd be cool. Going to a flop of 8-7 deuce rainbow. We've got Jack high and a dream, so I bet out $600 with 2 overcards and a gut shot straight draw, and Boots makes the call. We're off to a turn, which comes the 4 of clubs. No improvement on our end. So I'm ready to fire again. You know the drill. I bet out $1,300. And once again, for $1,300, Boots is a non-believer. He decides on making the call. Off to a river, which comes a king. And there it is, one of the better cards that we wanted to see. It's time to continue telling our story of having a strong hand. Let's just stick to that story. I decided to overbet the pot and fire out $5,500. And cue the fast forwarding of this video. Boots goes into a tank for forever. Goes over all of his options. He's trying to get a read at me. He's got third pair and he's thinking for a long time. And to even think this long with third pair, he's already soul reading me and my heart is pounding. I'll be down so much money if he actually calls, and then he ends up saying it's 50-50. After more tanking, going over his options and playing with his chips, he now finally finds a fold. Phew, needed to get this one through. Our $5,500 river bluff gets through, and our night on the stream ends off on a high note at the very least. With the stream over, as you can see, I'm down about $25,000 to end the night, and we're going to play more off stream. This hand, we pick up pocket queens in +2. Bart in +1 opens it up to $300. We've got a strong hand finally to 3-bet for value, so I decided to go for it. 3-bet to $1,100. Bones on the button surprisingly comes along and makes the call. Bart called as well, and we're going 3 ways to a bloated pot against 2 of the Texas's best pros out there. The flop comes Queen Jack 3, 2 diamonds, top set, baby. This is what we've been waiting for all night long. Bart checks to me, and I put in a bet of $1,100, and for this small sizing, $1,100, both players make the call. With the big pot building, the turn comes another queen. Oh my god, quads with the pot over $6,500 and with more money to play with. Bart checks to me and I am just so excited. Not sure what we get value from as we have the entire board locked up, obviously. I decide to chuck this one over to Bones and onto him. He doesn't let me down. He throws out a bet of $3,000. Bart folds, and thank you, Bones, for putting money in the middle. I am just going to make the call. With quads, we're off to see a river, hoping to maybe complete a straight or some sort. The river comes a 5 of clubs. It's a total brick. I'm going to check this one over to him as, honestly, like I said, we have the entire board locked up, and we want to keep letting his bluffs bet. I check, and he bets out $9,000. I am fist pumping so hard right now. He has about 7, 8, 9,000 left in his stack. I'm so excited. Obviously, we can't contain our excitement too much. I just rip it all in, announce all in. He calls. We show queens for quads, and he shows pocket jacks. Unfortunately, big thank you to Bones, who decided to fold the entire flop, so we couldn't get a good shot. So we can give a huge shout out to him. We couldn't get a cool thumbnail, but absolute huge cooler quads versus a full house set over set on the flop. And we win over a $30,000 pot with quads in a classic cooler fashion. Unfortunately, that this hand happened maybe 10 minutes after the stream went off. But hey, just like that, we're in the game. We're no longer stuck $25,000. So feeling really good with a bunch of money in front of me, obviously, after winning that massive hand. This next spot, we pick up pocket queens once again. We're in the small blind playing 6-handed. Bart on the button opens it up to $300. Onto me, we're definitely going to put in a raise again, and I size to $1,500 this time. And only Bart makes the call. So we're going heads up to a flop. And the flop comes Queen 10-7 rainbow. Oh my freaking god. Top set once again with the nuts. I throw out a continuation bet of $2,000 and we've got action. For $2,000, he makes the call. Going off to a turn which comes the 9 of hearts, brings in a backdoor flush draw, and I think that this card is going to hit him more than me. And considering that, and we're out of position, I'm going to check this one. I think sometimes we need to have some stronger hands when we check back, and this is going to be one of those hands. And he decides on checking this one back, so we're off to see a free river. The river comes in 8, and that's obviously not the best card, as any jack makes a straight, and it's a decision point to either go for a block bet or just check call. It's going to be pretty hard for us to fold top set since we're so strong in this spot, so I decided to just block bet $2,200. If he raises us here, I think we can comfortably fold a lot of the time, as it's going to be hard for him to be bluffing, but ultimately he ends up just making the call. I show my hand, and he unfortunately shows us the Jack 9 for a straight. Open-ended on the flop, hit a pair on the turn, and got there on the river. Couldn't catch a break, but no complaints after that last hand with quads, obviously. Well, we're outside the Waterbury parking lot. We're waiting for some food. And cashed out. Mariano, how are you?
I'm hungry.
You're hungry?
Mm-hmm.
So, the whole live stream thing, not treating either of us or myself well in the slightest. I will say, like, that quads versus jacks hand was really nice. As nice as it was, we're still stuck. Somehow, miraculously, as bad as I played on live stream, we didn't lose, like, ridiculous amounts. We were in for 50,000, out for... so stupid. We're in for 50,000, out for 48,600. So that's a minus 1,400. A lot of different things that I need to figure out after this little experiment of going on live streams and playing these nosebleed stakes.
This isn't nosebleed.
This is kind of nosebleed.
So this is just big.
This is considered nosebleed, I think.
Life is still pretty sweet.
Life is still good.
Yeah, we have like some pretty cool lives and
yeah,
people who love us.
Thank you for tuning into the live stream to watch us punt. I mean, you know.
What the fuck? Don't include me with your punting shit. I did not punt.
Mariano punts.
I did not punt once.
This is becoming the Mariano ran punt channel.
I ran a normal bluff against Bart, and now that's the extent of it. That was a standard bluff. I did no such punts. I did not turn my 10 top pair into an all-in for no reason. I did not check raise pocket sevens with 3 bigger cards on the flop. Okay, so leave me out of your punting title. Okay?
He does actually play well. But
yeah, super fucking well.
Yeah, that's the video. More vlogs to come, but thank you for the support. It hurts for sure to not like do great, but at least you guys tuning in and watching means a lot, and just giving us the opportunity to do this is great.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the subscribe button is free. God, if this hasn't been entertaining enough for you guys, then I don't know what will be. See you guys next time. More vlogs to come for sure. Every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
And next month, we're going to be in Vegas together, right?
We are already in Vegas when you're watching this video.
Oh, right.
Vegas vlogs are coming soon. Follow both of us on Instagram if you want to be up to date, because this is kind of backlogged. See you guys next time. Peace.